Hello and welcome to another Tech Home Builder weekly webcast. I'm your host, John Galante, president of AE Ventures, the folks that publish Tech Home Builder, produce Tech Home Builder summits. I'm happy today to be having a conversation with the folks at Apex Chat. Joining us are David Shepler, who is the manager of strategic partnerships and alliances, and Ken Lee, who's the director of marketing and growth. That's a good combo. So you guys are kind of the product experts and interfacing with builders on a day-to-day basis on this solution set, and we're happy to dig in a little deeper on what's becoming one of the key technologies and solutions for builders in the digital marketing and sales realm. So let's just take it from the top, and if you could tell us a little bit about Apex Chat and maybe give us a little bit of an overview on chat as a category.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to meet with you today and have this opportunity to also speak to builders out there maybe tuning in. So my name's Dave Shepler, as you mentioned, and I've been with Apex Chat since 2013. So have seen certainly the service and the industry grow and the new features that have come along and so forth. And Apex Chat as a company has been around since 2008. So we were sort of one of the early, companies in this industry vertical when it comes to working with services and companies like builders. And a lot of people will think of live chat as something that they may have seen on a website, maybe when they go to do their banking, or if they're looking for technical support at their cable company, something like that. And that's certainly one form of it. The live chat that we provide as a company is all about increasing conversion for our clients. So in other words, a lot of builders, for example, are working with online marketing companies to help drive traffic to their website. And our service is designed to help them convert that traffic once it gets there. The other thing that's unique about our live chat service is that we are actually a 24/7 service, meaning that we have over 200 live chat trained agents that handle the chats on behalf of our clients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're not just a live chat software plugin and then the business has to monitor or handle those chats. We actually provide the service behind it. And in addition to that, not only is it just your traditional live chat that shows up on a website, which is one form, but we're also able to engage with our clients, prospects and visitors through integrating with Facebook Messenger, for example. So there's a lot of builders now that are running paid advertisements on Facebook, and we can help them convert that traffic through our chat. We also provide a text messaging option so that if somebody wants to, correspond through SMS text messaging, we can respond to those messages on behalf of the business. So we're really putting ourselves accessible for these various ways that people want to engage with businesses, and then being there to instantly respond on their behalf to help engage and sort of pre-qualify these visitors for the business.
Cool. Is builder the only vertical that Apex Chat serves, or are there other verticals where you're providing similar services?
Yeah, so it's not the only vertical that we serve. However, with our business, I would say we're really in four main verticals. So for example, we work with several thousand law firms out there that utilize our service. We work with a lot of medical professionals, elective medical, so things like plastic surgeons, dentists, and so forth. We work with a lot of universities, so schools looking to boost their enrollment, and then home services and home builders, where we have about 5,000 businesses in that category, whether it's home builders, whether it's roofers, home remodelers, things of that nature. Gotcha. One thing to note, though, is that our chat agents are separated so that the agents who handle chats for law firms, for example, are only going to handle those types of chats, whereas the chat agents that handle chats for home services, home builders, will only work in that category.
Gotcha. So how prevalent has chat and live messaging services like this become in the digital marketing and sales realm? Is this a common application? Is it on the rise? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been studying kind of the trends of consumer behavior. And so what we've seen in the last decade, really decade and a half, is this trend that consumers want to prefer text-based communication. So the average American on their phone spends 6 minutes actually making phone calls with their telephones versus 26 minutes per day text messaging their friends. And so it's clearly become the preferred method of communication for consumers. And that translates over to how consumers want to communicate initially with businesses. And so 79% of one poll, 79% of consumers favor actually using live chat instead of picking up the phone and calling the business for the initial interaction because it's less intrusive, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another stat.
Does that break down differently in different age ranges and demographics? Is it more male versus female or younger versus older?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, the assumption was that, oh, maybe the millennials and the Gen Xers are more adept to use text messaging. But in a recent study, this goes along all through generations, all the way up to the baby boomers. And so it's no longer a generational preference, but just a human preference in how we want to communicate. Gotcha. And so there was another study that said 89% of consumers want to be able to message a business, while only 48%, text message specifically, and only 48% of businesses are equipped to take on text messaging from that consumer. So what you're really seeing here is that there's a little bit of a delay in how businesses are adapting, and the ones who are able to adapt quicker are able to get a larger amount of the share if they're able to capitalize in the next, I would say, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. So let's talk about it in terms of integration with the website. Is that critical functionality on websites? And let's focus on builder websites. Do you have any sense of what the penetration is of chat functionality on websites or where we're headed?
Yeah, I think the 48%, so it's nearly half, and that applies across the board. I will say this, that the home improvement industry is, as Dave mentioned, we're in several verticals. I would say the home improvement industry is slightly behind like the legal vertical, which is a little ahead of the curve. So I can say that.
Gotcha. So let's talk about benefits and features for builders in terms of implementing chat or even some of the other messaging strategies that you all deploy.
Yeah, I could touch on that, John. So, when you talk about the benefits, the first thing that I would say right off the bat that would jump out at folks is that on average, what our clients have reported over the years is that they tend to see about a 35% increase in the number of leads that they get from their website, from people that are doing a search online, compared to whatever they were getting prior to adding our service. So, that actual number is going to vary quite a bit based on the amount of traffic that a particular builder has coming to their site. So, for example, if we're working with a builder that is doing a lot of digital marketing, they're running a lot of, PPC campaigns, they're doing a lot of SEO, maybe they're doing advertisements in other manners, whether it's radio, billboards, TV, etc. The more people they're getting to their website, obviously, the more people we have the ability to engage with and help convert into a prospect.
Right.
That 35% is a net increase. So what I typically set the expectations for a builder, if I say, can you tell me approximately how many leads you're getting today without chat? And if they tell me, well, we're doing pretty well, we get about 100 leads as a result of people who are filling out our contact form or calling us as a result of, finding us online, then I would realistically set an expectation for that builder that, well, once you plug in our service, I would expect you to see a net increase of, 30 to 35 additional leads on top of what you were getting before. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty, significant difference that chat and text messaging and so forth brings to the table.
And do you feel like the bigger the site in terms of traffic, the higher the lift is, or do you have a sense, is it smaller, higher, bigger, higher? How does that break down? Or is it?
Yeah, so that's exactly sort of where I was going earlier, where it does come to the traffic, because our service is not going to do anything to help get more people there for the builder. So to your point, if I was talking to a smaller builder and maybe they weren't doing as much of these things to get traffic to their site, and they said, boy, we're lucky if we get, 5 leads a month today, as a result of people coming to our site, then I would say to that person, well, you add our service, perhaps we'll get you an extra lead, because just adding our service isn't going to be getting more people there. We're there to help convert. So we're that conversion tool.
Right. From a cost justification perspective, bigger traffic is going to make a heck of a lot more sense, right?
It will. Yeah. I mean, it's really about maximizing their conversion. So when their marketing folks are saying, boy, we're investing all this money and resources into, pay-per-click campaigns, we're investing time and money into, these other things. Their main goal is to convert as much of that traffic that comes to their website as possible. And that's where we step in to help them do that.
So what does a hero builder customer look like to you? I mean, who does a great job of leveraging the benefits of your tool set? How do they do it?
Yeah, Dave,
you don't have to name a specific name, but give me a profile of a hero customer for Apex Chat. How do they work with you? Which facets of your tool set do they typically deploy? Is it an integrated set of tool sets? Help me understand who the real winners are with your technology.
Yeah, I think I can start with a little bit of perspective. So the best customer builder of ours will have a good marketing budget and a good team that knows how to get traffic to their website, right? As Dave said, that's a prerequisite for us to really step in. So that's first of all. And then that's in the top of the funnel. So once we do our job and capture information and essentially capture more leads for them than they normally would have otherwise, the second step to that is having a great system on following up leads. And so if they have a great system, a CRM system, sales reps that know what to do with leads in a timely fashion and know how to close leads, those are the best partners, because they're going to see immediate ROI, and it's a no-brainer in that sense.
Yeah. So what does a good interaction on the chat and messaging side of things look like? I mean, is it 10 back and forths? I mean, how deep can one of your agents go with taking these folks down the buying journey in terms of covering flyover or uncovering needs with discovery questions? I mean, what does that look like typically?
Yeah, so our service is really about greeting someone to the site, treating them in a friendly way, asking and answering some simple questions. We're really there to more or less pre-qualify the visitor to find out, exactly what it is they're looking for. And our chat agents work off of a script, which we customize to a point for each builder. So, there may be a couple of questions that are very important to them that they would like us to ask and things like that. But part of the benefit to our service really is that not only are we, pre-qualifying folks in a way to, one of the things we're going to ask is, are you in the market for a new home, for example, obviously. And if they are, then we're going to go a little bit further in that chat to say things like, oh, is there a particular community of ours that you're interested in? Were you interested in coming in to visit one of our model center locations and, having a tour or something along those lines? And obviously, if the chat is going down that road, then that's going to be someone that is going to be a good lead for the builder. This is somebody who's in the market, they're looking. But the other thing that we're doing as well, and we'll touch on this with our pricing later, is we're also providing a service for the builders where, sometimes we know that people will come on the chat and they have a warranty or maintenance issue, or it's a realtor or something like that, which the person we're chatting with really isn't a new prospect looking to purchase a home, but they have other reasons for engaging with that builder. And we're going to facilitate and funnel those conversations to the right place as well. So providing a bit of customer service in that regard.
Yeah.
One other thing I did want to touch on, John, as far as benefits of a service like ours, is that, there are builders out there today that, do have a form of a live chat on their website. And I've worked with many of them that have ended up using our service. And they have a chat, and it's a software that they've downloaded where if someone starts the chat, it's up to someone at the builder's office to respond. And what a lot of times you find is that when someone clicks on there, if the person is not logged in to take chats at the business, it will turn into simply a contact form, or someone will start a chat. And if the person is busy at the builders, they don't respond quickly enough and the person is gone. So with our service, being that it's 24/7, not only are we there to respond instantly during the day for our clients, but also 42% of the leads that we capture for our clients come what's considered outside of normal business hours. So we're talking, in the middle of the night, weekends, maybe when the business certainly wouldn't have anybody there to respond. And there's a lot of opportunities that are left on the table that we're able to engage with.
Yeah. So when you develop these scripts, how long of a process is that with a builder client? Is that like a few hours of back and forth by email to get to the right questions? Do you give them guidance? Because there's questions and there's questions, right? There's closed prompts, there's open questions. I'm assuming you guys bring some expertise in that realm. But how long would it take with a builder client to develop kind of the question tree?
So to get started with our service, and I'm sure we'll recap this at the end, but it's actually much simpler than people tend to think. So we do consider ourselves like the expert initially on these scripts. As I mentioned, we've been doing this since 2008. And so we've developed scripts over the years that we know work very well in the chat. So sort of the common Q&A that come up and so forth. And then when we set up the script initially, what we'll do is we will go to that particular builder's website. And so, for example, we'll see the different communities that they have, and we'll incorporate those into the script. Certain things that are unique to that builder, we're going to encompass in the script. And then what we're also able to do is before we go live on their website, if a builder would like to review that script, we send it to them in a Word document format, and they'll take a look at it. And a lot of times they'll say, hey, this looks great to get started. Let's go. This looks good to me. Other times they may say, hey, this looks really good, but I would like to maybe add this one question that I didn't see there, or maybe I'd like to reword a particular response. And they can certainly do that. And also, we always consider our script a living document. So once we get started on a builder's site, if they see that there's some interactions where perhaps they as a company would normally respond a different way to a common question that's been coming up, all they need to do is contact us to let us know that, and we will adjust the script accordingly.
Yeah. And how does the handoff work? Are you sending like a complete transcript of the back and forth to a point of contact, and or do you do any lead scoring or anything like that to help them prioritize or even understand urgency of response?
Yeah, so by default, the way we send the lead initially is we will always send an email with the full transcript of the chat immediately after the chat ends. So this is a hot lead, and it can go to as many email addresses as they would like it to go to. In addition to having the chat transcript, it's also going to show some important information, such as the page on the website they started the chat. If the information is obtainable, it'll say, did they get to the website through a Google search or a Bing search, etc. In addition, though, to sending leads via email, we also have our own open API at Apex Chat, so we can integrate and push leads directly into our client's CRM system many of the times. If they would like us to do that, that's something that we're also able to do. And there's also some additional tracking stuff we can do. I'll let Ken maybe touch on that.
Cool.
Yeah. So basically, there are three type of category of leads we generate and we'll classify in buckets. So if they're sales leads, those are going to be your highest priority leads. Those are new prospects, verified and pre-qualified through the conversation. So our agent will say, okay, this is a sales lead. And then the second one would be like a service lead. So if it was a current customer who needed to reschedule an appointment, as an example. So that would be classified in that bucket. And then the third would be other, could be someone maybe inquiring to apply as an employee to work for the builder. And so those would be others. So obviously that first group of bucket will be your most high priority ones that will classify for you.
Cool. Well, have we covered pretty well the major categories of benefit that you all are providing, or do you want to talk about, maybe let's talk about some trends, huh? Because we're in a new world, right? And digital has really risen in importance for builders. So are you guys seeing any change in the character or the importance of your services in the wake of the pandemic here?
Yeah. We've been tracking this quite a bit. So we have over 10,000 businesses that we do live chat for. So we see a lot of traffic trends in different industries, and we see the intent of the consumers on their website. And what I mean by that is, as an example, in early March, when the pandemic and shelter-in-place orders took place around across the country, we saw a major dip in traffic across the board, right? To be expected.
Yeah.
And what's surprising is that in June and now after August and now into September, that traffic not only recovered, but surpassed the dip and surpassed the pre-pandemic numbers. So January and February demand, we're now surpassing that. And so if you look on Google Trends, you'll see they scale on a 0 to 100 scale how popular a particular keyword is being searched in the country. And you'll see that in August, it is at 100. It's at maximum interest for the keyword home builders, custom home builders, which is incredible because you look at the dark contrast between, I think it was in the mid 50s in September, in March when the pandemic hit, and jumped all the way back to 100 to maximum demand. So what that tells us is that people are looking for home builders and looking to work on their homes right now, especially because they're staying at home, right? So they're thinking about these things.
Yeah. Do you guys have any data on kind of the opportunity cost of not having technologies like this? I mean, if you don't meet this buyer where they are, which is digital more than physical now, are you, leaving the field open to a builder that does? I mean, is there any evidence that if home buyers aren't getting the response digitally that they would expect from websites and such, that they're just knocking a builder off the list or a community off the list because they can't connect that way?
Yeah, I think we don't have any stats because we don't know the net difference between those. We can only speak to the ones who have live chat. But I will say this, if you put your shoes in a consumer looking to hire a home builder, yeah, usually I'm going to be in the middle of the night after work looking and shopping for what I need at home, right? And I'm probably going to do a Google search, and I'll look at maybe 4 or 5 different websites. And the chances are the person with live chat, an available person 24/7, to be able to initiate and answer some basic questions, they're going to have a higher chance at grabbing me versus maybe the other 4 sites that didn't have live chat available. So it's really kind of that first advantage for that business owner and builder to engage with them, even if their business is closed. So they're going to end up winning that prospect.
Right.
I would
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, John. I was just going to say one thing too that I can speak to that really speaks volumes, and is that in fact one of the builders that we met at your last Tech Home Summit in December in Maryland ended up coming on board with our service, and they were one of the ones who previously had a live chat on their website, but the majority of the time nobody was there to answer. And so they liked the idea of a service like ours. And I'll tell you, the expectations they had before our service was implemented were absolutely blown out of the water compared to once our service was on the site. And they couldn't believe how many leads that they were getting that they weren't getting before. Because I think what they didn't realize was that the fact that they had a chat, but since nobody was really able to engage with it most of the time, maybe they thought that there just wasn't that many people in general that would chat based on their limited experience. And what happened was the first month they had our service, they sort of broke records on leads they had and so forth. They, in the very first month, they attributed 2 contracts that they had signed and closed specifically to our chat service. And then following that, they've actually been a client of ours that has been beta testing. We have a new feature that's now allowing us to help our builders schedule actual appointments onto their calendar for people who want to come into their model center locations. Yeah. And so we've been seeing great results on that. And in fact, their month of July, they signed the most contracts they've ever signed. It was a record month for them. And, I'm happy to talk a little bit more specifically about this, if people want to talk to me after this is over, about the numbers. But it just goes to show, and again, they're one of those builders that's doing all the right things in terms of getting traffic to their website and so forth. But the fact is that before they added the service compared to after, they really measured those numbers and just saw really great results.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. I'm happy to hear that. Give us a little bit of an idea of what type of commitment is involved for a builder to get started with you guys.
Yeah, so this tends to be sort of one of the best parts for builders that I speak to. Really what you're going to find is that from a commitment perspective, first off, there's no long-term commitment at all. Our service is month to month, so we never ask anybody to sign up for any particular length of time. We believe the service will speak for itself, and our retention rate is very high. The other thing is how we charge for our service. This tends to get the response many times of it sounds like a no-brainer. So we are a pay-for-performance model, meaning that we only charge for what we consider a qualified lead that we've captured through chat. A qualified lead would be someone that we've chatted with where we have gotten the person's name, contact information. In fact, they are someone who's in the market looking for a new home. They are interested in one of the communities that builder has. So they're interested in coming and taking a look. And there's someone that the builder has not already, interacted with. So it's a new prospect that fits, what they're providing. Any other chats that occur. So this kind of comes to the service part. If we're dealing with somebody who has a warranty or maintenance issue, if we're dealing with a realtor that's trying to connect with somebody at the office for something along those lines, or, somebody may be wondering if they have a sales position open, they're looking for a job. In any of those scenarios, we're still going to chat with the person. We're still going to send a copy of that transcript to the builder, but we don't charge for any of those leads. In terms of what we charge for a qualified lead, we charge $15 per qualified lead. There's no monthly fees. There's no minimums. And we're also open to, occasionally, we do have builders that have high volume, quite frankly. And so in those scenarios, for budgeting purposes, if we work with them for a couple of months, we can take a look at that volume, offer a potential flat rate if that makes sense for their budgeting purpose. But typically, we only are charging for qualified leads.
Yeah, that does sound like a no-brainer. And I'm going to talk to you about opening a new vertical in the event business after we're done with it.
Fair enough.
Now, guys, I think this has been a great tour of, first of all, the functionality of the chat and your service, not just a software bot that's loaded on a website, but a service where there are live human beings who are doing the interacting and also coordinating with the digital sellers back at the builder's office. Very compelling, very of the moment. I think you did a great job with the overview. Thanks for spending some time with us and sharing with our builder audience.
Absolutely, John.
Yeah, John, my pleasure. And lastly, I just wanted to say that we have set up something where any of the builders who watch this interview here, we're going to give them a 50% off our one-time initial setup costs to get started. So there is a promotion that we're going to provide to them, and they can go to our landing page that we've created, or email me directly, or give me a call directly, and I know we'll have all that contact information for your viewers.
Can they interact with one of your chat agents?
They can.
Okay, cool. Guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.